Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Warframe video. Ever since I started playing the video game, some of my most popular content that people have watched and requested more of are videos where I can point out where you can find specific resources in a short and timely manner. This video, I am hoping to accomplish that by showing you where you can find 4 of the most common resources in Warframe. These resources are Ferrite, Alloy Plating, Nano Spores, and Salvage. I'll be going over very quickly 2 locations that I feel like would be most beneficial for both early and late game players, and by showing off how you can get them. I want to include that this is also using boosters, so if you do have the ability to, I would recommend buying a booster. If not though, the numbers that you are going to see are slightly adjusted based off of my booster and some of the other in-game boosters that they do show. I'm also not using a farming team, so expect that the numbers are going to be a little bit different. But if you do decide to use a farming frame such as Necros or Korra, you will probably get sometimes more or less, again, depending on whether or not you're using a booster or a farming team. Anyway, without further ado, I am going to go ahead and split up the video into multiple different sections for your convenience. Go ahead and click on whichever one you feel like is most useful, and let's get started. Ferrite is a common resource that can be found on Earth, Neptune, Mercury, and the Void. It is a widely used resource with over 250 recipes requiring at least 100 to craft something. Due to how common it is, there are many places you could run and get a decent amount, but here are 2 places that I recommend for farming. The first is the Dark Sector Koba on planet Earth. Dark Sectors provide a small boost to drops and affinity, making it a decent place for new players to grind ranks for their weapons and warframes. In 10 waves of defense, I was able to obtain around 2400 Ferrite with my booster. The second level is the last level in the game, Mott in the Void. In about 10 minutes of survival, I was able to get roughly 19,000 Ferrite with no farming frames, making it a decent place to farm tons of Ferrite with or without a good booster. Alloy Plate is a common resource that can be found on multiple planets including Venus, Jupiter, and Ceres. Along with Ferrite, it is a very widely used resource with over 260 recipes and has a minimum cost of 100 for some of them. Unlike Ferrite, Alloy Plating has a lot of planets to farm from, but here are the best locations I've been able to find in. The first is Gabby on Ceres, and the second is Draco, which is also on Ceres. Both places seem to offer a similar amount for being a mid-location map, and I recommend it for new and returning players. Between both of them, I got about 5100 for Gabby, and 6300 for Draco, in 10 minutes of survival, making it a decent place for one to grind. Are you enjoying the video currently? Consider giving it a like and sharing it with someone who might need it, and subscribe if you haven't already. I deeply appreciate it. Nano Spores are a common resource that you can find on Deimos, Saturn, Eris, and Neptune. Like the previous 2 resources, Nano Spores are very heavily used, required in just over 200 recipes, and come in giant clumps with almost every acquisition. Nano Spores have 2 main farming locations I've identified, the first being Terrarim on Deimos. You can reach this area rather quickly, as Deimos is right after Mars and is low enough level for new players. After about 10 minutes of survival, I left with about 10,100 Nano Spores. The second location is Helene on Saturn. Helene, as a defense mission, has many other uses than just Nano Spores, and is recommended for new or even older players that use it for both leveling and Orokin cell farming. In about 10 rounds of defense, I was able to pull about 16,300 spores, making it, in my opinion, the best place to farm. Salvage is a common resource and the last one on my list for today. It can be found in a few places such as Mars, Jupiter, and Sedna, and has over 300 recipes requiring at least 100 of it. As with the previous 3 resources, salvage is common in many areas, but here are the best that I think you should focus on. The first is Waiba Mars. This is another dark sector, so you'll obtain a small bonus on resources. After about 10 minutes, I made roughly 7,800 salvage. The second is Chimeria on Jupiter. This location is also a dark sector, and netted me about 11,600 after 10 minutes of grinding. There is also a third area that you could grind over on Sedna. However, I haven't been able to find more than over 6,000 in a run of defense, so I personally don't recommend it. But if you would like to know, it is Sangero on Sedna. And that's pretty much it for today. I hope things were educational a little bit. If you enjoyed, again, please do give the video a like if you enjoyed it, and hit the subscribe button. Tell me what you would like to cover next. I plan to cover every single resource in the game, telling you where you can find it and the best places to farm it. I know not every single resource is going to be common or even uncommon, and some of the rare stuff is very annoying to get. So my hope with this series is to help people in a quick and more fashionable manner so that you can figure out where you need to go really quickly with about 60 seconds or less of time. Again, please let me know down in the comments what you think of this, whether or not you think I'm right or wrong, or even just different comments that you have about the places that you can grind. Again, I do want to reiterate that these places were made in mind with new players or even players that are just trying to get to the end of the map and are looking for decent places to farm. The numbers that I am showing off are numbers that I used while doing tests of every single level, using nothing but a resource booster and occasionally in dark sectors, a slight boost to item drops. Other than that, that's pretty much going to do it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!